Does this sound like you? You have really good English skills, but you struggle to understand native English speakers. You spend hours learning grammar, but then you watch an English movie or TV show and you have to turn on the subtitles. Well, don't worry, you're not alone. I've successfully taught thousands of English language students from countries all over the world, and they can now confidently and easily talk with native English speakers, and they don't need subtitles. And in this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you in a fun way how you can do the same by joining in a real natural English conversation. First, just sit back, relax and listen to a conversation that takes place in my house. For the best results, don't take any notes. I'll put a PDF in the description below. You're not supposed to understand everything that's being said. Just listen to the sounds and rhythm of natural English. After the conversation, you'll hear clear and easy to follow explanations of some of the more difficult words and phrases that you might not have heard before. And then it's time for the real magic to happen as you take your place in that conversation. Hi, I'm Steve. Let's do this.
While you've got the ironing board out, can you just run the iron over my jeans?
Sure, no problem. Just throw them on the pile over there.
Cheers. I'm going to a do next Wednesday, and I was going to wear them.
Jeans, aren't they a little informal?
Not really. It's a lunchtime retirement do, so we're only going to the pub.
That sounds great. What time will you be home?
I'm not certain. The last time I went to one, I was bored to tears and left early. But if it's a good laugh, I might be late. I'll play it by ear.
I was just wondering if I should make anything for you to eat when you get in.
Never you mind about that. You just sort yourself out.
Right. When I've done your jeans, I'm going to call it a day.
Fair enough. Do you fancy going out?
To be honest, I can't be bothered, and besides, I'm skint.
I can lend you a tenner if you'd like.
Go on then, just let me crack on with this ironing. Now let's spend just a few minutes to go over some of the words and phrases that were used in that conversation that you might not have heard before. I was doing the ironing using an iron and an ironing board. And the way iron is pronounced in English is different than any other word. And that's because even though the R is followed by a vowel sound, which usually means it's pronounced, like crate or rice. And a top tip here is to make a British R sound, push your lips forward. Crate, rice. You try. In the word iron, the R you can see is followed by a vowel sound, but the R is silent. It's the only time that it happens. So it's not iron, it's iron. You try, iron. So this is an ironing board. If you struggle with the English letter R, check out this video on the site. It'll tell you all you ever need to know about how to pronounce it correctly. I was asked to run the iron over something. This is a common way in English just to say to iron something, to run the iron over it. And the thing I was asked to run the iron over were a pair of jeans. In the UK, there are two main ways of referring to trousers. There are jeans, which I'm guessing is the same in your language, and pants, which are these. Now, I've seen some American English language channels that say that in the UK, that the word pants is only ever used to refer to underwear. And this is true, it can be used for that, but more usually we would say underpants for underwear. And if we just say pants, we usually mean just ordinary trousers like this. I'm going to stop talking about pants now because it's getting a little weird. You heard the word cheers being used to take the place of thanks. This is really common in modern English. Cheers. The lady said she was going to a retirement do. And a retirement do is a party for someone who's leaving work. The do part just takes the place of the word party. She was going on Wednesday, and this word seems to cause a lot of problems for English language students. I think because of the way it's spelt. So if you have to say this, just imagine it's spelt like this. No D and no E. So it's just Wednesday. Wednesday. You try. It's easy. Wednesday. I use the phrase, "That sounds great," which is a way of saying that you think it's a good idea, that you approve.
I'm going to paint this wall green.
That sounds great.
Can you help me?
That doesn't sound so great. To be bored to tears is a fun way of saying you're very bored.
I've been learning English grammar now for ages and I'm bored to tears.
The lady said she was going to play it by ear, which means she was going to decide what to do depending on the circumstances, what was happening at the time.
Are you going to get your hair cut when you're in town?
I might do. I'll play it by ear. You heard the expression, "never you mind," which is another way of saying, "don't worry."
How are you getting to the doctor's?
Never you mind, I'll get the bus. And to sort yourself out means to look after yourself. I decided to call it a day when I'd ironed the jeans. And to call it a day just means to finish whatever you're doing. To say this naturally, change the A to a schwa sound, that's that little that's really common in English, and move the T from the end of it to the front of that schwa sound. So instead of it, it becomes it, it. So the whole thing is call it a day. Call it a day. You try. You heard the expression fair enough, and I can't tell you how important it is to know this in English. It's used all the time. Here it was used to mean I've heard you and I'm not going to argue with you. Fair enough. But it's got lots of other uses. If you haven't already seen it, check out this video on the channel that will explain all its uses. Next we heard, do you fancy going out? Which means, would you like to go out? However, it wasn't pronounced like that. In natural English, we always change the do and the you, and you've got two choices. You can either change the vowel sounds in these words to the schwa sound, which we've already talked about, that little sound, so it becomes d, y. Or for even faster English speech, change do and you to the j sound. So the whole thing is, do you fancy going out? You try, do you fancy going out? I said I couldn't be bothered, which means I didn't want to go to the trouble of going out. English people use this phrase all the time.
Have you phoned your brother?
I couldn't be bothered.
Have you been to the gym?
I couldn't be bothered.
Have you clicked the like button?
Actually, yes, I can be bothered. I said I was skint, which means I've got no money. And for everything that you need to know about using money in the UK, check out this video, where you will also find out that the word tenner, which we heard in the conversation, is another word for a £10 note. Having been persuaded to go out, I use the expression, go on then, which is an informal way of saying, I accept your offer to do something. And to say this in a natural way, we put a little W sound between the go and the on. Listen carefully. Go on. Go on. Can you hear that little W sound? Go on. So the whole thing becomes, go on then. You try. Go on then.
Do you want some more cake?
Go on then. I told her to let me crack on, which means to let me continue with what I'm doing. Let me crack on. So let's crack on with improving your English speaking skills. You're going to take the place of one of the people in that conversation. Your words will appear on the screen as you need them. For the best results, speak out loud. Sure, no problem. Just throw them on the pile over there. Jeans, aren't they a little informal? That sounds great. What time will you be home? I was just wondering if I should make anything for you to eat when you get in. Right, when I've done your jeans, I'm going to call it a day. To be honest, I can't be bothered, and besides, I'm skint. Go on then, just let me crack on with this ironing. Now crack on and click this link for another video that's guaranteed to boost your English skills. I'll see you next time.